Yes. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. How wonderful to see you all. I'm just trying to manage the view so I could maybe see the Sento better. Well, anyway, well that's good. So it's really nice to see you all, and as always, I wish I could be with you. It almost feels like my second home. Sonoma Mountain Zen Center. I came there first, I think, the year 2000, and me and my wife came over, and we did when I think back, it was a remarkable thing to do, actually, and I didn't think of anything of it then, but we sold the car and we rented the house and we did all kinds of things to be able to come and stay at the Zen Center for 6 months. We had take off time from my work and as a musician and a teacher. But it was really kind of I think the foundation of our relationship. And that's when I met Njose for the first time, and many of you as well. So can everybody hear me well? Is it okay? Okay. Yeah, so that's good. I remember me and my wife, we stayed down at the tower. I was the old it was down the hill. It was called the tower, and everything was completely new for us. All the sounds and the smell and everything was just completely new. And but it was a wonderful time. And my wife had never sat zazen before. Well, just a little bit, but we were just it was a true beginner's mind, I think, and good memories. So we the Icelandic Sangha is really, many things are happening. Last Saturday, I gave 5 people Jukai, and that was really, really wonderful. And I heard that there were also Jukai at Sonoma Mountain, and congratulations to all of you. It's always wonderful when someone takes the decision of investigating who you really are, and that's well, you might say a road less traveled maybe today, or maybe it has always been like that, and few people that take this stand and take the precepts. And also I wanted to share with you because in October I went to France. I recently got to know the Zen people in Europe, and that was so I've been getting to know and starting to know the people that are practicing in Europe, and that's also because I know a lot of people, like of course in around Sonoma Mountain, and but Europe I'd never met anyone. I met a few of them when I was in Japan, in Toshochi. So now it's a little bit more, and every year. This was the second time. And so this time it was actually for both this year and 2023, it was dedicated to Keisan Senji, who was the founder of Shojiji. And it was sort of auspicious in many ways, also because just before I went to France, I had some kind of experience where I couldn't find Valdi. It was kind of strange, but also at the same time familiar. So I'd been investigating, and it was a deep and intimate experience, and also I presented Roshi with this problem, the case of Valdis disappearing, and I wrote to him and I said, well, you know, I can't find Valdi. I can't tell where he is, or I can't find him. And then, of course, it was a really nice and beautiful response from Roshi. It was, well, okay, who's writing the email then? And yeah, it's a fair question. So, but so I was kind of experiencing this sensation, and as I went to France, and in France, I learned that Keisan Senji's enlightenment phrases were very interesting, and they resonated with me in a deep way. And I think I will read for you this case. So Keisan Senji is the fourth generation from Dogen Senji, and his teacher was Tetsuki Kai. And so one morning, Tetsuki Kai went up in the Dharma hall and raised the case of ordinary mind is the way. And then Keisan suddenly realized great awakening, and he said, I got it. And Gikai asked, what did you get? And then he said, Keisan said, a black lacquer horse runs through the night. So Gikai said, that's not yet it. Say more. And then Keisan said, at tea time, I drink tea. At mealtime, I eat rice. And then Gikai smiled and said, this person in the future will arouse the ancestral wind. So it was, at first I didn't think much of, but I was very curious about the black lacquer horse running through the night. And I was thinking, what is it? What is it? What is a black horse running through the night or in the night? Well, then I studied it a little bit later, and I Googled it, and I tried to find different versions of it. And then some versions are said a black person runs through the night, or the black balls roll through the night, and probably more versions of it, but it doesn't really matter what it is. The key to it is what the color and the night. So it resonated with my quest somehow, a deep resonance. And then it's the a black horse running in the night. You cannot make any distinction. You cannot say, you cannot, because the night is dark and the horse is black, and then where is the what is it that moves in the dark? So it's the question also, who are you, and what is the way you exist? How do you exist? So if we exist in the as not as a separate self. So we are like a black horse in the night. So you can't really say who is walking, who is standing, who is sitting, who is lying. So those are very good question. And it also helped me understand that Valdis' disappearance. And I thought, yeah, that's it. That's like that was a deep kind of resonance, that I was a black horse in the night. I cannot make a distinction between me and anything else. My existence relies, I accept my existence relies on everything else. Everything else supports me. And it was such a wonderful and deep resonance. And I think I've read it many times, and you know, yes, of course, we're everything, but it's maybe I can say something about the Icelandic word that means understanding. So understanding in Iceland means, you say it að skilja, which means, well, skilja in Icelandic means to separate. So to understand, you have to separate. So that's the understanding, is that you cannot understand left unless you have right. You cannot understand up unless there's down. And that's true with all language. And it's amazing that this word means actually to separate. It means you separate, and then you have a reference point, and then you have to, and then you can understand. So in order to understand yourself, you have to separate. in order for me to say I'm Valdi and the rest of the world is over there somehow, I have to separate. So by separating in this way, it makes, when we are stuck in the separation or this kind of understanding, conceptual understanding. So if life is not a concept, then conceptual mind cannot grasp it. So how can a mind that can only understand by separating, understand something that's just one? The second you say it, and then it's not that, because you're separating, you're understanding, you're a skilja. So this deep understanding or this deep rooted, that what we call greed, anger, and ignorance, is that if you approach the world as I'm here and then the rest of the world is over there, that makes you the reference point. That's why all it's that kind of understanding is always self-centered, because you're always seeing it from a reference point, which is you. So, but the black horse in the night, that was a different, because that was not the conceptual mind. That was a sense of the oneness disappearing of Valdi. But it's and it also reminded me of this kind of separation. The koan, when the student asked the teacher, does a dog have a Buddha nature? And the teacher said mu, which means no, because it's not a concept. A question calls for an answer. An answer can always be conceptual. So that's actually very liberating, because if we always approach life as separate, it's a lot of you feel that you're responsible somehow, and you carry the world, and somehow the life is kind of happening to you, and that's the root of human suffering. That's root of my suffering. But the good thing also about the black horse in the night, it's not just about Valdi. It's about everything. I can I can sense my eyes, ears, touch, taste, and the mind, and also what I sense, like my own anger and my own fear and my own anxiety. It's different, because it's when we think of, when we have the view of the black horse in the night, there's no one in me being anxious. There's just anxiety. There's no one in me, so it's not separate from me. And that way anxiety and fear cannot grasp at anything, because it's is just this. Just standing up, just sitting. The just is very important because it's not. It's saying there's no one there. So the walking is not separate from the walker. Running is not separate from the runner. So you just run and you just sit. You just stand. But also this understanding is not a final understanding, because you are still here. I'm still here talking, and so that's when Keisan Senji said, at tea time I drink tea, at meal time I eat rice. That's very wonderful to participate in the world. When you come, you do the things that you have to do in front of you, and you participate in this completely different way of participating. You can say eat rice or drink tea or write email or play piano or driving. That's you participating, but deep inside you also you know that you're a black horse in the night, and I think maybe the conditioned mind is of course very strong, and our society and our culture is not much into being a black horse. So it's very, but for me, I think it's the only way. It's the only way. And I'm thinking about peace. There's no way. Well, there's no way to peace, because the way is peace. Peace is already here. Where else could it be? So the war and the disputes of humans. If we don't realize that we are black horse in the night, we contribute to the war because it's suffering. And you cannot expect someone else to find peace. You have to do it yourself. You cannot ask others to be peaceful. You have to find peace yourself. And you cannot find peace unless you realize that you're a black horse in the night. Maybe I told this story before, but I'll take the chance and I'll say it again. Maybe some of you, I'm not sure if I told it before, but 3 years ago, I went to Auschwitz. I went to Poland and I went to Auschwitz, and I got a tour through this horrific place. And one of the things towards the end of the tour, and I could feel I was really sensing the horror that went on there. And so towards the end of we walked into a gas chamber, down like a ramp, and there were like walls on each side, and we were walked into a chamber like this. And I thought to myself, wow, okay. I thought of a person that, and families and people that walk this path. But at the same time, I looked up and I saw a small flower. It was on the top of the wall, kind of flickering in the wind like this, and it was so beautiful. And that's when it hit me. Peace is already here. Even when you're walking into a gas chamber, peace is here. The terror is in our heads. So the war is basically a bad idea, terrible idea, but it's based on separation. So if we approach life as being separate somehow, I think we contribute. And that's how I perceive it. And so I think it's very, very, very important to let go. And I have another story. It was a dream that I had also just maybe a few weeks ago, and it was about well, I'll tell you. So in the dream there was a coffin, a white coffin with white clothes, and a person was lying in the coffin, but the person was not dead. So the person was kind of finding a comfortable position and just lying in the coffin. And I thought to myself, wow, and when I got closer, I realized it was my grandfather. My grandfather, who bears the same name as myself, Astvaldur. And my grandfather was just kind of making himself comfortable and, and preparing to just die. And I said, wow, that's a great courage to just lie in a coffin and just die. But then I realized it was myself. It was me that was in the coffin. And so what I make of it is that letting go is a kind of dying. Because there's something, when you let go, you have to trust this moment enough to let go of your own concepts about it, your own ideas. But those ideas are really, really deep rooted and conditioned. And I understand. It's for me. It's a so I could feel I sense the fear of just letting go and die. And maybe that's just like letting go of this moment is the same fear of completely letting go and trust this moment for you to take care of you, because it's already taking care of you. You're not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. I cannot even blink my eye once. in my personal power. Each and every heartbeat through my entire life has been because everything else exists, because of you, because of the wind, the rain, the snow, the heat and the cold. Nothing is in my own power. I cannot do anything. But that's also very, very liberating to deeply realize that you don't do anything. The entire world appears and you appear simultaneously with everything. And everything is codependent, interdependent. So it's a also very intimate, and often what happens when I connect with it, I get tears in my eyes, and so actually there's nothing to wait for. We can. There's also a wonderful story I want to read for you. It's about the cypress tree in the courtyard. There was a monk who asked Great Master Joshu, "Does a cypress tree also have Buddha nature?" The Great Master replied, "Yes, he has." The monk then asked, "Well, when does such a tree realize Buddhahood?" The Great Master replied, "He waits for the empty sky to come down to earth." The monk then asked, "And when does the empty sky come down to earth?" The Great Master replied, "It waits for the cypress tree to realize Buddhahood." Isn't that a wonderful story? Because it's just like us, we're always waiting for something to happen. And we try to use this moment to get to the next one, even though there is no next one. So that's a great suffering. Dogen Senshi said to express the black horse in the night, he said, Shinjin Datsuraku Shinjin, dropping off body and mind and body drop off. So when mind and body, they drop off as a separate entity, and then you're a black horse in the night. That's a very, very. I've been actually thinking about this dropping of body and mind for more than 20 years. And also, I said, maybe this is very familiar. It's because it has been there all our lives. It has never, we all see it, but we relate to it differently. It's in the relationship, that the intimacy of one and many. So maybe that's good for now, because I have to go and have my tea and eat my rice. And my tea and my rice is this evening is gonna be, I have to go and play a concert. So like in 40 minutes, I have to be downtown, and I've been playing in a big hall. So that's my tea and rice. That's I come, and that's what I do when it's time to play. I just play. So are there any maybe comments or questions?
Where were you in France, and who were you with?
It's just south of Paris. It's called La Grandonnière. I'm not good in French. La Grandonnière. No, that was worse. Like, yeah, it's south of like 2 or 3 hours drive south of Paris. It's a beautiful. It's a big house and an old like country home, and it's a beautiful place. So I wish I could stay longer with you. I think I really have to run.
Yeah.
And I remember that the runner and the running is one. It's not separate when I run. Thank you. I see you later. See you soon. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay.
Black horse
Take care.
runs in the night. You better get going. Yeah.